A very good afternoon to you and welcome to CoreTV News and this hour. I am Nena Nyama. The Code of Conduct Tribunal has refused to grant an application by the Senate President Bukola Saraki for an adjournment of his trial, pending the determination of his appeal at the Supreme Court. Tribunal Chairman Danladi Umaru, in a ruling, held that the submission of the defense counsel has been overtaken by the new administration of Justice Criminal Act. He also said the accused person would not suffer any harm if the trial is continued. This prompted Saraki's team of lawyers to stage a walkout, describing the ruling as a judicial rascality. The matter has been adjourned to November 19. The Senate wants the federal government to probe the utilization of the various intervention funds meant to curb unemployment in the country. Resolution is in line with the motion tabled by the senator representing Akwa Ibom North East, Basi Albert. He described the situation where about 2 trillion naira expended on intervention funds has had no measurable impact as a calamity. Our correspondent Basi Aye now reports.
The motion is not the first that has been raised on the issue of unemployment. Several contributions were made, mostly in support of the motion. But it was one that got heated reactions from the lawmakers on both sides of the divide. This was after an additional prayer by the Minority Whip, Philip Aduda, on the need for the APC-led federal government to implement its promise of paying stipends to job seekers was scuttled by his colleagues in the majority.
Mr. President, my amendment is that the additional prayer is that the federal government should immediately commence the payment of the 5,000 naira stipend that was promised Nigerians during the unemployed youth during the campaigns, that to reduce the hardship and to reduce the hardship of undergraduates caused by the unemployment in the country.
The federal government should immediately consider the 5,000 naira promise.
Those in favor of this additional prayer say aye. Those against say nay.
The leader, sit down. Distinguished.
It was, however, a different ball game when the chairman, Senate Committee on Rules and Business, Babajide Omoworare, made a suggestion. In the end, there was calm, even as the Senate upheld all the initial prayers put forward by the sponsor of the motion. Basi Aye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The Senate President Bukola Saraki has announced names of chairman and vice chairman of standing committees for the 8th Senate. He read out the list just before adjourning plenary to Tuesday, November 10. The list of 65 includes 60 standing and 5 special committees and has Senator George Akume put in charge of Army, Ahmed Lawan, Defense, Hope Uzadima, Aviation, Oluremi Tinubu, Women Affairs, James Manager, Power. Others are Abdulaziz Inyako, Special Duties, Petroleum Downstream, Uche Kwenife, and Appropriation, Danjuma Goje.
Distinguished colleagues, as we form our committees, our oversight committees, again, this is one of our areas of great responsibility. And as such, I want again to appeal to all chairmen and vice chairmen of the committees to ensure that regular meetings are met and they are well structured, ensure that oversight functions are monitoring of relevant ministries and agencies of government. The key issues they need to work as a team. We have seen over the years the lack of cooperation sometimes between chairman and vice chairman. I want to appeal to all chairman and vice chairman to ensure that we work as a team. And most of the issues we've talked about today, about the success of the next 4 years, depends largely on how effective our oversight function is. I want to remind you also of that, and that to ensure a key word that it's not going to be business as usual. On that note, I want to make the following announcements.
Committee on Culture and Tourism, Chairman, Senator Matthew Rodriguez, Vice Chairman, Senator Abubakar Amadu. Committee on Customs, Excise and Tariff, Chairman, Senator Adama, Vice Chairman, Senator Sam Aina. Committee on Defense, Chairman, Senator Ahmed Lawa, Vice Chairman, Senator Jeremiah Asidi.
Meanwhile, the Senate now has full complement of 109 senators. This follows the swearing-in of Baba Gaka Garuba as senator representing Borno Central. The senator emerged winner in Saturday's by-election to occupy the seat left vacant after Ahmed Zana's death.
And defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that I will abide by the code of conduct contained in the fifth schedule of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
The Senate is to send a delegation led by Deputy Senate Leader Bala Nala to Belgu Kingdom to commiserate with the people over the death of their emir, Haliru Dantoro. This was on the basis of a motion by Senator Aliyu Sabi Niger North, who recalled that the emir was a senator in the Third Republic. The lawmakers also paid tribute to Senator Yang Wajok, governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Plateau State in the last election.
The Senate further recalled that my Borgu's activities as a frontline nationalist and elder statesman who promoted the bond of unity and cooperation within the Nigerian polity. On 24th June 2006, my Borgu successfully conducted the joint turbining of two former heads of state, General Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, as he then was, and now President Muhammadu Buhari, and General Ibrahim Babangida, GCFR, as Majin Borgu and Mayakin Borgu, respectively.
A lot of senators
Away from the Senate and now to the House of Representatives, which is to probe alleged plan by the National Electricity Regulatory Commission to pay the chairman and 6 board members more than 2.7 billion naira severance allowance. The lawmakers argued that it is indefensible for the chairman to take home 400 million naira, while the 6 members each collect 380 naira. Our National Assembly correspondent Jamil Afegboa reports on this and other proceedings from the lower chamber.
Wednesday's proceedings kicked off with a motion to investigate the huge amounts of money to be paid as severance allowance to board members of the National Electricity Regulatory Commission. Members felt it was not just justifiable for the members to be paid that kind of money.
Informed that the money is intended to cover, among other things, upfront salaries of 2 years for each member of the board, pursuant to Section 36, subsection 2 of the Electricity Power Sector Reform Act, which bars a member of the board from working in the power sector for a period of 2 years after leaving office.
The money, according to revelations, will cover for 2 years upfront salary to the chairman and 6 members who will go home with 400 million naira and 380 million naira for the chairman and each of the members.
See an agency with 7 commissioners, one person taking 400 million maybe the mover of the motion did not bring it out clearly for people to see that one person, 400, that means 7 commissioners. The chairman, 400 million as his severance, gratuity. The other 6 members of the commissioners taking 380 million because they work for 5 years.
This is one investigation we should take very seriously because Ramfa has stipulated pays for every public servant. Where Narek got this, we don't know. At the risk of being judgmental, I want to say that act, we need to say, is very unpatriotic.
The high point of the day's proceedings will be the bowing out of Khadija Kuka Abba Ibrahim, who, having been confirmed minister-designate, is leaving the House of Representatives.
I am unhappy because I'm going to miss you all, but I take solace in the fact that the job of nation building is a collective responsibility of different arms of government, which means that our path will definitely cross again. In the course of rendering service to the people, I admit that I am human and only God is infallible. So I may have caused offense to some people. Such certainly was not deliberate nor intentional. I therefore ask for forgiveness if I have offended you in any way.
House Leader Femi Gbajabiamila praised the minister-designate for her dedication, responsibility and simplicity in the discharge of her duties since coming into the House of Representatives in 2007.
Honorable Khadija, those of us who know you very well, admire your courage, admire your poise, admire very much your intellect and your composure.
Many motions, including one on National Health Insurance Scheme and other infrastructures, were dropped or either withdrawn. Jamil Afegwa, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Honorable Udil, I thought you would lead the escort party.
As the immediate past Benue State Governor Gabriel Suswem continues the legal battle of allegations of corruption, his successor Samuel Otom says the administration will ensure the return of all looted funds from the state's treasury. Governor Otom affirmed this in chat with State House correspondents after a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa. He insisted that he met a deficit treasury but noted the residents of the state are in favor of him setting up panels to recover all looted government assets.
Law will take its course. Well, you know that just like the federal government and my government, we believe in the rule of law and due process. And so that has nothing to do with my predecessor. I'm handling the matter of my predecessor in a legitimate manner. That has to do with the rule of law and due process. I set up 2 panels. One judicial panel to verify the income and expenditure of government from 2007 to 2015, and also a panel to verify the assets of government, so that we get things in the right perspective, because I met a deficit treasury and the people of Benue State want to know what went wrong with their money, what went wrong with the shopping money, what went wrong with the excess crude money that came to Benue State, what went wrong with the shares of government in various corporations that were sold. Where did the money go?
We'll take a break now, return with more stories. Just stay with us.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say.
I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it's time to forgive me.
Please for Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
Glad to have you back. You're still watching CoreTV News and this hour. For more news stories and information, join us on our social media platforms, facebook.com/CoreTV News, on Twitter at CoreTV News NG. and on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space news. President Muhammadu Buhari is hosting a two-day retreat for ministers-designates in Abuja. The retreat is to prepare the 36 individuals who were recently screened and confirmed for places in the cabinet for the task ahead of them. Speaking at the opening of the retreat, President Buhari emphasized that diversification of the nation's economy remains the priority of his administration. He also wants the incoming ministers to prepare to work for Nigeria. The theme of the presidential retreat is delivering change from precept to practice. We have more of the story in the subsequent bulletins. A new INEC boss, Mahmoud Yakubu, and 5 national commissioners of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, scaled the Senate screening with promises to amend electoral systems in Nigeria. With some weeks to the forthcoming elections in Kogi and Bayelsa State with rerun in some other states, the transparency of INEC is once again a public discourse. Our correspondent Olajumoke Olatunji has the rest of the story. We apologize for that. We hope to bring you that report subsequently in our other bulletins. We'll move on. Lagos State Governor Kiwumi Anbade on Thursday said the agribusiness sector remains one of the most viable areas that the federal as well as state governments must begin to pay serious attention to boost its revenue generation in the wake of dwindling oil prices. Governor Anbade, who spoke at the 4th European Union Nigeria Business Forum 2015 holding at the Eco Hotels and Suites, said the harsh times in the oil sector and its attendant impact on government revenue makes it imperative to look inward for creative ways of growing the economy of the country and boosting gross domestic product. To this end, he said the agricultural sector serves as a ready alternative source of revenue generation, not only to governments but also to individuals and private organizations through the various agro-allied value chains. He commended the organizers for the theme of this year's forum, unlocking opportunities for diversification, saying it is apt as it would afford participants focus on addressing the obstacles to the effective development of the agricultural value chain. We live in a world where everyone tilts towards the internet for information, research, business, networking and learning. Social media network connects people to one another. This is empowered by technology through Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp and many more. Our correspondent Nettie Library has details of the story.
Social networking has both negative and positive impact, especially with the younger generations. The negative impact it has on these young minds include watching pornography, scamming people, gambling at the detriment of their studies. Time spent on the internet is supposed to be utilized in visiting the library to study and write assignments. Unfortunately, young people just surf the internet to get answers to assignments using the easy way out. A public affairs analyst says young people should utilize the internet for educational programs, not for fraudulent activities.
The ugly side of the internet contains so much information to the point where they will end up becoming even injurious and confusing to you. Then the bad side of the internet is that the internet is also a custodian of corrupt acts and activities.
For his part, a legal practitioner says young people should be monitored by parents or guardians to ensure that they don't watch corrupt materials on the internet.
Because the negative side is premised on who is in charge. If the children are in charge of the phone and they are the one doing the negative side, why can't the parent control it? Why can't the parent monitor what their children are doing on the internet?
Some young people share their likes and dislikes about the internet.
I don't like the level and rate at which people post nude photos, especially the ladies. They just post very nude photos that are bad for consumption of especially children, and even expose their bodies and all that, and which they know is abnormal, but they feel the social internet is where they can do anything they like.
Scamming people on internet, like this Yahoo or everything. Some people scam people on internet using maybe like this pictures, fake pictures and information that are not genuine, that they use fake informations to scam people, collect money from people, and that's very, very wrong, and is even against the law of this our country, and is against the law of internet.
What is bothering my mind is that about how people post private discussion on social media, and that's too bad of them posting private discussion on social media.
Be that as it may, the positive impact of the social media cannot be overemphasized, as it has become a vital medium for many young people to acquire scholarship opportunities and do online courses, participate in educational competitions, and get to meet role models for mentorship.
What I like about internet is it makes us to acquire scholarships online in other countries.
Of information that will help them to develop themselves in the form of probably scholarship information. You also have information about career. You also have information about job opportunities. So from that angle, you can see the good side of the internet.
With the emergence of social media, information sharing has become a lot easier. You can reach millions of people with just one update and create an online image positively or negatively.
Away from that, and now to the foreign scene, Taiwan President Ma Ying-jeou says the upcoming meeting with President Xi Jinping borders on normalizing ties with China and has nothing to do with the Democratic Island's elections in January. Ying-jeou disclosed this while speaking at a news conference ahead of Saturday's talks in Singapore with Chinese President Xi Jinping, the first of such meetings since the Chinese Civil War ended in 1949. He emphasized that his discussions with Xi could help reduce hostilities in the short term, adding that he hopes future leaders of Taiwan will be able to hold such meetings. This meeting, however, coincides with rising anti-China sentiment in Taiwan ahead of presidential and parliamentary polls in January, at which Ma's Kuomintang party is likely to lose to the Democratic Progressive Party, which traditionally favors independence from China. Myanmar's opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi has warned against ongoing fraudulent actions that could disrupt the electoral process in the country. Addressing journalists today, the Nobel Peace Prize winner declared that her party has the momentum for victory in Sunday's elections. She disclosed that her party had received reports of irregularities in the advanced voting overseas, including in South Korea and Singapore, where thousands of Myanmar voters are working. Suu Kyi, however, criticized the election body overseeing the polls, pointing out that very little action has been seen on the part of the Commission to address the problem. And finally, in sports, under-23 national team coach Samson Siasia believes preparing for the African under-23 championship in Morocco will be a right step for his team as they aim to pick a ticket to Rio 2016. The dream team will face Egypt, Algeria and Mali in Group B when Senegal 2015 kicks off on November 28. Anything apart from going to Morocco for the camping exercise will be a big disappointment towards our preparations, Siasia said. Siasia also revealed that his team still lacks the goal-scoring instinct despite playing quality football, but he assured that the area would be improved on before departing for Senegal. And that's it in CoreTV News on this hour. Thank you so very much for watching. I am Nena Nyama. Good afternoon.